What happens here then? We are going to go through a script that has been requested by a viewer, and we're going to talk about the themes of that script. That script is from the amazing series Mad Men, and I use amazing so infrequently. If you haven't seen Mad Men, you should definitely watch it. Whatever you're watching at the moment won't be as good as Mad Men is. Stop watching that and watch Mad Men. I think it's on Amazon Prime, but the buggers might be charging for it now. I can't do anything about it. This week's viewer request is another insult that I will take in good grace because I am graceful. Unlike Sorted Ketchup 33, who wrote, "I don't get how you like something like Mad Men and you can then make something silly like Dizzy Rascal magazine. It is so silly when you could be making something better like Mad Men, so you say." So much wrong with that. Written by a pure moron. If you mated with Stephen Hawking, the spawn would be a fool, since your genes are so powerful they overwhelm genius. I am overwhelmed. But in good grace, I shall tackle your insults one by one. It is Dirty Rascal magazine. Dizzy Rascal is a man. It is also not an attempt to make Mad Men. You have conflated, new word for you to look up, one period drama with another. Dirty Rascal magazine is brutal popular entertainment. Its goal is to reach 1 billion homes by 2030 and run for a minimum of 17 seasons. 25 shows a season. That's 400 shows. How many Mad Men were there? 35? 50? 65? 70? 80? Not as many, different shows. I really like Mad Men, and you saw that and tried to make me envy something I love, like a marriage that drifts apart over 30 years because at 50, she tells you that she always wanted to go to Austria and learn the Viennese waltz, and you stole that from her. She finds the guts to do it without you, and you hate her for it. All that said, let's do a couple of scenes from Mad Men, a wonderful show that runs from 1960 to 1971. We'll do scenes at either end of the run, perhaps show the clever things they did, discuss Mad Men and Sorted Ketchup's 33's rudeness. No one has the right to make me feel bad about the things that I do, unless they are truly bad things, like, oh, you kicked a child in the face.
Are evil things.
Would that be evil, or would that just be a bad thing? What if the child was on fire?
Why would you kick it?
Well, I'm giving a reason. The child is on fire.
Its face is on fire.
And you're going to put it out with your foot.
Yeah. You would in that look,
Evil.
in that moment. You would.
How many times would you have to kick an on fire child's face?
I would hope only once, because the first one would floor it, and hopefully that did enough to kind of put it out. Because otherwise,
You have to stamp on it.
There's nothing else around, not a blanket, not
Not a blanket.
It's not a perfect
water.
But the attempt isn't evil.
You've got
You
good
were-
intentions.
I guess not. Yeah. You could explain that.
Are you doing it
Yes,
with a smile on your face?
Yeah, if you're
the
doing it with a
grimace
smile on
really
your
does
face,
change the
it's-
context.
And to be fair, I'm thinking about it, and it is a powerful image. So he's been very rude.
Yeah.
I don't know why people got this beef with me. I'm making this stuff. It's like you can't. How can you like something like Mad Men when you're making something that's silly? Is effectively what he's saying, and then he gets the title of it wrong. But the silly thing I'm making is entertainment. I'm not trying to make Mad Men. It isn't that silly anyway. It's a bit. Look, there's, Dirty Rascal magazine. You take a step back from it. It's a show set in the 70s, so like 10 years after Mad Men. Set in the 70s, shot in an 80s style. It is soap operatic. Yeah. Now you can decide how much is soap and how much is operatic. For me, I'd say 70-30 operatic versus soap, right? Which I think is a ratio that EastEnders doesn't attain. I'd say EastEnders is probably 50-50. Neighbours, probably 70-30 the other way, right? So it's doing a job that it should do and it can do, but I don't like. It's not trying to be Mad Men. If I wanted to write Mad Men, I'd have written it. I was old enough. If they'd have called me when they started writing it and they'd said, "Hey, do you want to be on the writing team?" I'd say, "Well, number one, I don't like collaborating, but number two, yes, I could do this. If you tell me what you want, I'll do it by myself." And then you'd have had Mad Men and I'd have written it. So we have a scene early on from the first season, and we got characters that we got to pick. So in this first scene from the first season, Don Draper, the creative director, has just pitched an idea of coupons to prospective client Rachel Menken of Menken's department store. It is odd to be pitching directly to a woman at this point in history. Rachel would later become a love interest for Don. Also present are Roger Sterling, a senior partner at the ad agency Sterling Cooper, the Sterling part named after his late father, and Pete Campbell, a young accounts executive, not a creative. Choose roles. Right. Who wants to be Rachel Menken?
I'm happy to do it.
Yes, we like happiness. Right, so that leaves Don, Roger, and Pete. What do you think?
I'd love to have a crack at Don.
Don Draper.
Yeah.
Don Draper.
Unless you saw yourself as
No, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. Famed for that.
I can do Pete.
Pete Campbell. Yeah, you'll be good at that. I'll be Roger then. So I start. Right. Look out for it. This is good. So we're in a meeting here, and we're trying to impress Rachel with our ideas, sort of, and then don't do it very well. Okay, but I don't want to spoil it. Listen out for the code later. What's the code for? You'll find out. So, what Don is saying is that through a variety of media, including a spot during the Danny Thomas show, if you can afford it, we could really boost awareness.
Then a 10% off coupon in select ladies' magazines will increase your first-time visitors. Once we get them into the store, the rest is kind of up to you.
Mr. Draper, our store is 60 years old. We share a wall with Tiffany's. Honestly, a coupon?
Miss Menken, coupons work. I think your father would agree with this strategy.
He might. But he's not here because we just had our lowest sales year ever. So I suppose what I think matters most right now.
Miss Menken, why did you come here? There are a dozen other agencies better suited to your needs.
If I wanted some man who happened to be from the same village as my father to manage my account, I could have stayed where I was. Their research favors coupons too.
It's not just research, Miss Menken. Housewives love coupons.
I'm not interested in housewives.
What kind of people do you want?
I want your kind of people, Mr. Draper. People who don't care about coupons, whether or not they can afford it. People who are coming to the store because it is expensive.
We obviously have very different ideas.
Yes, like the customer is always right. Gentlemen, I really thought you could do better than this. Sterling Cooper has a reputation for being innovative.
Miss, you are way out of line.
Don, please, let's not get emotional here. There's no reason we can't talk this out.
Talk out what? This silly idea that people are going to come to some store they've never been to because it's more expensive?
It works for Chanel.
Menken's is not Chanel.
That's a vote of confidence.
What Don's saying is, Chanel is a very different kind of place. It's French, it's continental, it's...
Not just another Jewish department store.
Exactly.
You were right, Roger. This place really runs on charm.
This is ridiculous.
Don!
I'm not going to let a woman talk to me like this. This meeting is over. Good luck, Miss Menken.
Don leaves, Pete follows him. There we go. Well, kind of interesting. So we have quite a sort of simple idea of, hey, she's a woman, we shouldn't really listen to her. But it's going to be far cleverer than that. Because that's a bit basic. That's a bit smooth-brained, really. If you just attach it to, they're just being a bit sexist. You go, yeah, but look a bit deeper. What does it all mean? What vibe is being given off here? What is the tension in the room? she makes the point, what kind of customer do you want? What kind of customer do you want? He says, like, your kind of people, right? And that's a giveaway that she's impressed by the type of person that he is.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is a subtext here. Now, they happen to have a kind of engagement, not an actual engagement. Don't have a very strong third finger. Not an actual engagement, but a tryst, a kind of 3-monther.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to spoil it for people. That's kind of interesting. He learns quite a few things from her, as he should, as he proves in this. And she learns a few things from him. And that interplay is exciting and well done. But that's 1960. This is the beginning of the show, and we have, here's a woman representing her father's department store, and when she criticises our creativity, we yell at her for it, which isn't very good. And you couldn't really do it now. And maybe you shouldn't, some would argue, but hey, that's for another time. In this second scene, from late in season 5, so about 1968, Don is approached by Peggy, a young lady who at the start of the show was his very inexperienced secretary and now is the most promising creative on his team. Choose roles. Do you want to stick with Don?
I'd love to stick with Don if that's...
Don. And Peggy. Do you want to be Peggy?
Sure.
Or do you want to be Peggy?
I don't mind. Go for it if you'd like to.
Sure. I'll
Well,
be Peggy.
you know, let's have a bit more. Yes, I'd love
Sure.
to. Right. There's no one else. Okay. So, whenever you're ready.
I swear, I don't really need to talk right now.
Drink with me.
Don pours a couple of glasses of scotch.
I have to talk about something kind of serious.
Don hands Peggy the drink.
I can't put a girl on Jaguar. These car guys, I just can't. But, you know...
It's not that.
Is this about Joan being made partner?
What?
Circumstances... She's been with us 13 years.
Peggy drinks most of her scotch and sets it down and composes herself.
I want you to know that the day you saw something in me, my whole life changed. And since then, it's been my privilege to not only be at your side, but to be treated like a protege and for you to be my mentor and my champion.
Don sits back in his chair.
But?
But I think I've reached a point where it's time for me to have a new experience.
Really?
I'm giving my notice. I've accepted another offer.
Are you done?
I'm giving the customary 2 weeks. My last day will be the 3rd, and I don't think...
Hold on. It's been crazy around here, and I know I've been taking you for granted, and frankly, I'm impressed. You finally picked the right moment to ask for a raise.
It's time for me to move on.
Come on.
I'm serious.
You serious?
It wasn't easy.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't. Well, good for you. Where are you going?
Cutler, Gleason and Shaw.
Perfect. Okay, well, let's pretend I'm not responsible for every single good thing that's ever happened to you, and you tell me the number, or make one up, and I'll beat it.
There's no number.
There's no number? How long do you want to play this out?
I'm sorry, but you know this is what you would do.
You don't need to wait until the 3rd. I've got a room full of freelancers out there. I'll get by.
I understand.
Peggy offers her hand to Don to shake. He takes it and kisses it for a long time. She is very close to tears and eventually pulls her hand away.
Don't be a stranger.
Peggy leaves. I'm going to put a link to that scene in the description. Very powerful scene, that one. And what we have, I think, in the difference between those two scenes is someone that in the first scene, he's got a woman who is actually in the social stratosphere above him, but he considers lower. And in this scene, several years later, he has someone who is a subordinate to him, who he almost sees as an equal. He is a mentor to her, but he respects what she's capable of doing. And we get a wonderful moment of, I would say, platonic love. If you watch the scene and you see the hand kiss, it's the kind of thing that if you wrote that today, they say, oh, you can't do that because they're not in a relationship and it's creepy to kiss anybody's hand. Now, he's a very attractive man, which makes hand kissing a lot easier. But at the same time, the intensity of it, these are two people who do not have any sexual tension, or very kind of low level, but they love one another in a funny sort of way, and it's extremely powerful, and you don't really see that quality very often. So, I don't know what you took from it, if you watched the scene.
Yeah, it seems he goes through, it's emblematic of his character change from 1960 to, obviously we're not in 71, but almost a decade later.
Yeah, several years.
Reflecting
I think
the changing
67,
society.
68, and you see the societal change, you see the change in him. And even though by this point he's still fundamentally the same person, he would still agree with probably 95% of the things that he thought in his younger days. You see the effect of characters and people he can respect, what that has on you. Very, very good. So, I think, in closing, that is a demonstration of understanding the context. Because what you wanted me to do was to find two clips that were just, at the start they're really horrible to women, and then at the end they're quite nice to them. Yeah? Where's the level to that? Do you think that is where excellence lays? No, that's 3-star thinking. Yeah? That's like a hotel that it might have a swimming pool, but nobody really looks after it. Okay? The hotel in my mind has a helipad on top. And all the amenities you could want. Fresh towels, of course, it's a given. Mints on the pillow. Wrapped mints on the pillow, the Bible in the drawer, yeah, at least. So take that and smoke it, salted ketchup 33. Well played, everybody. Now, if you'd like to leave a comment, I forgot to do the code, so it's only fair that I allow all comments, but I will delete negative ones, because they're not really, let's be honest, they're not really based in reality. So, and I will also delete comments that criticize me for deleting negative ones. And then it's a question of willpower, and it's a question of stamina. Are you going to return to this video in years and years to make your comment happen? Because I tell you what, you won't outlast me. I'll go back every day to check that you don't exist. Nevertheless, I hope you enjoyed it, because, always aiming to please, and always pleasing to aim. Bye.